As I explained earlier, my name is Evie Vigil. I implore you to take the case, sir. Money is no object. Simply name your figure. Money and wealth are of little consequence to me, ma'am. Being offered a case to solve is reward enough. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're the... I will, of course, make a mental note of the offer, however, for contingent reasons. I trust you will remember your words also. If I may inquire, sir? This gentleman and lady would be... Oh, me? What I'm about to tell you, I should like to communicate in the strictest confidence, you understand? Ah, these are my friends. I assure you, you may say before us anything which you may say to me. Ah, I see. I can vouch for the gentleman personally, after all. He's hard of hearing. Why did I ever get my hopes up? Forgive me for asking, Miss Vigil, but have we met somewhere before? Quite recently, perhaps? Oh my! Sure, my dear fellow, what is your intention? Clearly you have no ability to differentiate the facial features of the English. If you wish to invite ladies to tea, you must do so in a more gentlemanly fashion. Is it possible that you're the nice young lawyer from the trial I attended last week? Ah, I know I recognize her. I don't quite recognize her because she's acting so differently now. It must be very difficult for you as a lawyer, being hard of hearing, I mean. Pardon? Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Don't worry if you can't hear. It was trippy, really. Nothing more. Now look where you've started, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you very much. I believe it would be prudent for you to sit quietly in the corner. Yes. Tell us about your husband, madam. Mr. Vigil, like Daly, is 40 years of age. They have a face no fear. I'm entirely unremarkable by appearance, at least. I'm not gonna Well, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, it's one of the that's how Pokemon makes you doing from shutting them, being able to set different groups to explode instead of spawn. Sorry about making you use your concentration. Sorry. So I guess we can say Warlord is your rival. Which would point to the possibility that he has become embroiled in some incident. Oh, that is exactly what I fear must have happened, Mr. Sholmes. I'm quite beside myself. My husband's employment is somewhat unusual, you see. What if he's incurred some miscreant's ill will? What exactly is your husband's line of work? He's a warder at the prison. A guard? That is somewhat unusual. So, your husband is a prison warder? That's right, yes. Well, in actual fact, he is the chief warder. Indeed? I see. Well, chief prison warder certainly qualifies as something of a specialist occupation. Yes, it does indeed. My poor husband must prepare those dreadful punishments. See that they carry out. Dreadful punishments? Does she mean capital punishments? At such times, he must occasionally spend a night or two in the prison dormitory. For that extra responsibility, he is remunerated more handsomely than the other warders. Of course, we make no mention of my husband's work to neighbours. Yes, I believe your prudence is justified. Tell me, at what prison is your husband engaged? Berkeley Prison, Mr. Sholmes. Really? Berkeley? Oh, a fine establishment. If I'm not mistaken, there is a large cemetery just behind it. Yes, that's correct. Lowgate Cemetery. No! Lowgate Cemetery? The very place we were discussing in court? That's unbelievable! Unbelievable, my dear fellow. And yet undeniable. Sorry, Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid you've lost me. Ah, pay no heed, madam. Pay no heed. A private matter. This can't really be a coincidence, can it? So, it's a matter of your husband's disappearance. When did you realise he was missing? Please try not to laugh. That was yesterday. I'm sorry? Yesterday? That really is recent, undoubtedly so. The truth is, my husband does at times have occasion to spend the night away for his work. Not at all out of the ordinary for him not to return home at night. This is different. For him not to make any contact for the whole day. That has certainly never happened before. Oh, my dear Daly, whatever could have happened? My dear Miss Vigil, please calm yourself. Now then, have you contacted the police? Why, naturally, but sadly, they refused to listen to my pleas and my husband has only been missing for 1 day. I was asked to wait patiently at home. In truth, Miss Vigil, I concur with the police. However, let us not be hasty. I see no reason why we should not engage my deductive powers to track your husband down anyway. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. And furthermore, let me assure you, a chance to solve the greatest problem known to man for another month has no bearing on my decision. I think I need to put a sweet smile on another Londoner's face. That's really all there is to it. You have my eternal gratitude. I shall pay any sum you care to mention. You see, I'll need to put this week's rent in your landlady's purse. That's all there is to it. Thank you for everything you have shared with us, Miss Vigil. I believe I have all the information I need to begin my investigation. Oh, please report to me soon. Good news, sir. Fear not, madam. In a day or two, I shall be contacting you with a heartening report, I'm quite sure. So soon? Oh, how splendid, Mr. Sholmes. Good news should be delivered early, I was saying. If you'll be so kind as to leave the photograph of your husband in my possession. The photograph of Mr. Vigil has been entered in the court record. Thank you. Now, allow me to show you the door. I can't thank you enough, Mrs. Sholmes. You've been simply marvellous. Well, I get the feeling that Cosmo's probably going to be a prosecutor in the next trial. But how do you come out with such nonsense? Good news in a day or two? Are you sure? I can't be sure, of course, but then I didn't swear on it. I merely gave the good news some hope. I hope to be able to give her good news, one might say. After all, the rent must be paid by the end of the day tomorrow. If my Aunt Tara successfully located Mr. Vigil, we should be mutually relieved. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruto? Don't look at me with those pleading eyes. Well, my dear fellow, did you hear the details of the case? Yes, my hearing is surprisingly good, actually. Excellent, and what do you make of it? Well, I was surprised to learn where her husband worked. At Barclay Prison, I mean. Ah, so you knew it now. Of course, especially with the mention of Lowgate Cemetery. Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among us students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. Barclay Prison is where that notorious man was incarcerated, the Professor. Now a warder from the prison has mysteriously disappeared, if you see. It's all very peculiar. Well, I get a feeling Goku is going to have some relevance in the next trial, because he's in the court record. Indeed, but nothing you can't handle, I'm quite certain, Miss Naruto. Sorry, run along to the prison and see what you can glean. Would you? It's the prison governor you want, no doubt the man is equally rude. But aren't you going to go yourself? Surely you needn't ask. I can't possibly be seen out in this hair. But can you go to Lime Street with that hair? That was a quite different matter. So leave it in your capable hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm rather busy. Of course. Move. Barclay Prison is on the outskirts of London, backing onto a lonely burial ground. Its four high outer walls loomed quietly before us in the fog. Having requested a meeting, we were shown to the governor's office in the watchtower. 1st November, Barclay Prison, governor's office. This place is full of hardened criminals. I can't even remember the last time a civilian was doing here. And you didn't even want to talk to an inmate, but to me? You can know who I am? I'm the governor. God, I don't know how to pronounce the first bit. Even more embarrassing since, like I mentioned in the trial with Gilded, I'm part Scottish myself. Oh, yes, it's a pleasure. I'm Minos Kane Naruhodo, defense lawyer. And an Easterner, I see. Does that mean... Yes, I'm a visiting student of law from the Empire of Japan. Japan? Did you say Japan? Yes. Well, there's no any of your kind here, laddie. Maybe you should try the prison next door, eh? I didn't notice another prison next door, sir. Anyway, we came to ask you some questions about... I didn't like to be so direct, but... I have no intention of speaking with the likes of you, suspicious-looking Easterners. Now get out of my hair. So as soon as he finds out that we're from Japan, he reacts like this. That sure means... 10 years ago, Genshin Asogi, also known as the Professor, was incarcerated at this prison. And then, after his execution, he apparently re-emerged from his grave in the cemetery behind the prison. I might have known. You're sniffing around a bit in that case, aren't you? Your agency, part of the Professor's great web, no doubt. No, not at all. We're just... Get gone with you, before I punch your lights out. We're going. Clearly the ghost of that killer still haunts this place. I'm not going to get anywhere here. Unless we can somehow prove to us, man, that there's nothing suspicious about us. Governor Caden? What are you thinking, Mr. Sato? I feel sure that name came up in conversation recently somewhere. I was wondering if you mentioned it might have some ideas to help us. Come to think of it, I have the same feeling. There's Professor Mikotoba over there. Ah, hello you two. I was just taking a moment to catch up on the world now that I'm unpacked. Where's Judge Jigoku? Yes, he's not a relaxing sort. He's taking himself off to pay his respects to all the legal bigwigs. Having only just arrived in the country today? Goodness, he is full of energy. Professor, you mentioned something before about how you'd known the prison governor at Barclay Prison. Oh, Governor Caden, you mean? So it is the same man. However, we must be... But he refused to talk to us. He said we were suspicious Easterners. Well, I'm sure if I accompanied you, it would be a very different story. Oh, would you? That would be wonderful, if you have time now. Sadly, as you can see, I'm very busy at the moment. Busy drinking coffee in a comfortable settee. No, I have rather a lot to prepare for tomorrow, so, you know. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that out loud, did I? You Mikotobas are alarmingly good at reading people's thoughts. Or could it be that you Naruhodos are alarmingly bad at hiding your thoughts? Let's not fall out now, I have an idea. What's he writing on that piece of paper? Permission slip. Here's a letter of introduction for you. Hopefully when he sees my name, he'll change his tune. Ah, thank you! The letter of introduction has been entered into court record. Good luck, then. Kind of reminds me of the Sunflower Hotel where I stayed in Malta. If you just cast your eyes over this, Governor Caden. What's this then? You can't even pull the wool over my eyes, you good-for-nothing Japanese student. Mikotoba. That young jock from the forensic laboratory? That Mikotoba? Yes, exactly, him. Oh dear, perhaps I should have said something sooner. I'm Yuji Mikotoba's daughter, Susaku. Jing, you're the young man's daughter? And you didn't think to mention that before? I do apologise. Well, you'd best take a seat, and can I offer you a cup of tea, perhaps? And didn't you forget to try one of these wee handcuff biscuits? Your father's influence is nothing short of amazing. I'm bitterly regretting not announcing who I was from the outset now. So then, what can I do for you then? Well, we're currently investigating a case. It's one of your wardens, you see. He's gone missing. Missing? Where is that Liverpudlian? I don't know why, but something that makes me think of my godmother. She was from Liverpool. That's right, it's really been reported to you as well, being the prison governor. I haven't heard nothing of the sort. There's no missing persons in my prison. Oh, but how can that be? Mr. Daily Vigil, your chief warder. Eh? Vigil? That's right. His wife came to us and asked us to investigate his disappearance. It skipped Paramount. I'm only going missing yesterday for now. Clearly that means something to him. Would you be so kind as to tell us what you know, sir? Aye, of course. Converse. Chief Warder Vigil. I'm normally a straight-to-the-point guy, but you understand that Mr. Vigil is the Chief Warder here at the prison? Aye, that he was. Strong sense of responsibility and dedicated to the job, no doubt about it. There's a fine warder. Sorry, did you say was? Aye. Doesn't he work here no more? He left the job. Oh my. When was this exactly? Here's a question. When was it? But it can't have been much less than 10 years ago now. What? 10 years ago? He stopped working here 10 years ago? Aye. I don't mind it. I haven't even heard the fella's name in all that time. Just worry if he's gone missing though. Miss Vigil made no mention of it. I think perhaps Mr. Naruhodo, that his wife simply doesn't know. I think she's unaware that he no longer works there. Governor Caden, can you tell us what happened? Why did Mr. Vigil give up his job here? That's important, is it? Yes, I believe it may be. What are you thinking, Miss Naruhodo? I can't help wondering, given that it was 10 years ago. Ah! Which was exactly when the professor was being held at this prison. So Mr. Vigil actually resigned from the position of Chief Warder 10 years ago, you're telling us? What happened to make him leave the job? In actual fact, he didn't leave the job willingly. He had no choice in the matter. You mean he was dismissed? It was after a particular walk. Sorry, a walk? Aye, that's a word for it in here. A walk to the gallows. An execution? It's the job of the Chief Warder to prepare the gallows tree and oversee any executions, you see. Only, Vigil did something unthinkable on that last walk he was running. What did he do? I'm sorry, but I can't even reveal that information. But I can tell you that it's very rare for a Chief Warder to be relieved of his post. But why wouldn't Miss Vigil know about it? She appears to be under the impression that her husband still works there. I wouldn't have cared anything about that, I'm afraid. Can you perhaps answer one more question about the circumstances of his dismissal? And what would that be, Hen? That last execution that Mr. Vigil was responsible for overseeing. Was it by any chance the Professor's? My thoughts exactly. I'm sorry, I really am. But I'm not at liberty to answer that. I see. That's a yes then. My father came to Britain all those years ago in order to study forensic medicine. But you seem to have been well acquainted. The dead room, the prison and the cemetery have a lot to do with one another. After all, they need fresh corpses for forensic research. Ian? Yes, I can imagine. The advancement of medical science is not always particularly palatable. Your father worked in a laboratory just on the far side of the graveyard, in the basement of St. Sinners. Still in use today. St. Sinners, it's called before, I'm sure. Yes, that's right. We've been there. Nikotoba and I have used to ride in a carriage together and negotiate terms for more fresh materials, I suppose. Aye, and we used to sit in there for hours and gallon of the section and all that, and all sorts. Oh, it takes me back. Oh, a pot of tea and a plate of puffed biscuits, of course. How charming. He was a good fellow, your father. Reliable and dead set on his work. But I'm afraid I'll never understand you Japanese. Because of Genshin Sogi, I suppose. Well, I can't tell you anything else. Thank you so much for your time, Governor. Oh, one moment before you're away, Hin. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Ah, found it. Here, take this as a wee souvenir of your visit to the prison. What is it? Here's Vigil's dismissal notice. It's 10 years old now, of course. Oh my, are you sure? Aye, it's no trouble at all. It's not the original, mind. Vigil's dismissal notice has been entered into court record. Thank you very much, Governor Caden. Well, in return, do me a favour and never come back here. That case is closed. Well, I think we ought to return to Baker Street for the time being. Yes, I agree. We need to report back to Mr. Sholmes on what we found out about Mr. Vigil. What will he tell Miss Vigil, I wonder? First November. Sholmes is sweet. We're back. Hello. Oh wait, Iris. I thought you'd be back before long, so I baked some scones for us all. Ah, so that's what delicious is. What? Greetings, my dear fellows. You've returned a good deal sooner than I was anticipating. Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Hello, Mr. Sholmes? Say nothing, your thoughts are written all over your faces in any case. Turns out that it may have been advisable to test my hair color restoration type for application. Oh my. Pray, tell me, what about Waterford? Have you garnered some new information? Oh, yes, something very surprising in fact. No, it's not a patch on your hair, to be honest. It most certainly isn't, but still, we discovered that... Sholmes! Drop everything, Sholmes. This is more important. Gina? I can't Adam and Eve it. What's happened? Clearly a very grave matter indeed. For Miss Lestrade made no mention of my hair whatsoever. It's the boss. What do you mean? Inspector Gregson? The boss he's dead. Yeah. Also, what? They just found his body. Shot with a pistol. What? But Inspector Gregson? He was murdered? No, not Gregsy. Come in, my dear girl, and tell us the whole story. Yeah, things took a turn for the worst. That's new. That's now 2 divisions of Scotland Yard which need to be moved around because the coroner's gone and Greggson's dead. Converse. The inspector's death. Are you serious, Gina? Inspector Gregson was really shot? I don't know much about what happened myself yet. I'm still investigating the scene. When did this take place? In a rented building full of flats on First Street. The outskirts of town, nowhere near his home. He was perhaps investigating a case then? The thing is, no one at the yard knows nothing about no case on there. Oh, how strange. The boss was... He was so good to me. I know I ain't up to much yet, but... One day I was gonna show him I'd become a proper detective. Oh, Jimmy. The culprit. So, who did this? Do you have any idea who the culprit is? They're gone already. Already? Caught the shooter so soon? A witness reported something was going on, and the boys got straight down there and took care of him. Who? What awful person did this? I still can't believe it myself. Gina. It was the Reaper. No, wait a minute! You don't mean they've arrested Lord Van Zieks for it? That's right, that Reaper bloke's gone and shot the boss. No! Lord Van Zieks. Are you quite sure, Mr. Strahd? It's Barak Van Zieks the police arrested? I saw him in my own eyes in the interview room at the yard. I don't believe it. But the witnesses, and they all seen it was him. So you mean there were actually multiple witnesses? They heard the gunshot apparently, and when our lot got to the scene, there was only the boss and that Reaper bloke in the room. There's no way Lord Van Zieks would have taken Gregson's life. I just don't believe it. I don't believe it either. Thank you for informing us, Mr. Strahd. This really is most terrible news. I'm dreadfully sorry. What are you saying sorry for? You didn't do nothing. Well, anyway. I'm taking a cab over to the scene right now. Please come out as soon as you can. You gotta help. It's a detective's lot to appear whenever some sinister plot has unfolded. Little wonder we all look haggard. Sometimes these things are almost too much for nerves. Mr. Sholmes? What use is there in being a great detective if I failed to see something like this coming, How could I let this happen to Gregson? Gregson? It's no hurry, I shall leave at once to begin my investigations. Of course, yes, we will too. It would be helpful if you could talk to Mr. Reaper and see what you could glean. I'm sure you're intending to do so anyway. Until later then. Inspector Gregson dead, Lord Van Zieks arrested. Where's that? Full cover update. Bruno! Susie! I've called you a handsome. Thank you. I know I'm handsome. I'm joking, I know it's a cab. Let's wait outside. Thanks, Iris. Shall we, Miss Usato? Yes. Move. Prison Governor's Office. First November, local prison, cell 1. There he is, Lord Van Zieks, behind bars. So it's true, he really was arrested. He's sitting with his back to the wall reading something. I don't think he's noticed us. Lord Van Zieks! Fancy meeting you here. The last place on earth I'd like to be, with the last person on earth I'd like to see. I couldn't very well not come. We heard what happened. And that you, that Inspector Gregson was... Go home. This has nothing to do with you. But... Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but I must disagree. Inspector Gregson was very helpful to us on a number of occasions. We're indebted to him. At the very least, we owe it to him to find out the truth about his death. You must help us with our investigations, please. There's really nothing I can tell you. What were you just reading at the back of the cellar? Was it something related to the case? Yes. The art isn't quite so cavalier with its information as to share case details with suspect. This is a letter from an old acquaintance. Oh, who might that be? Someone you know, as it happens? Albert Harebrain. Of course, yes. I keep forgetting they went to the same university. I would like to read my correspondence in peace, so let's get this over with, shall we? What is it you want to know? Strange. I mean, let's face it, Lord Van Zieks never minces his words. They seem to have less bite than usual somehow. Maybe because he's behind bars? Not in his element, words. Converse. What happened? Can you at least tell us your side of the story, Lord Van Zieks? What happened? How much do you already know? We know that the inspector was shot dead in a small rented room on Fresno Street, and that you were found there by the police when they arrived on the scene and immediately arrested. We were told that there was nobody else in the room and that some witnesses heard the gunshot. Then you're well informed. There's really nothing I can add. The truth is, I don't know what happened myself. But the gunshot! Obviously you didn't fire a gun, did you? I'm not in the habit of shooting the people I work alongside. I also heard a noise, however. Before I had a chance to investigate, I was apprehended by the arriving officers. Pretty sure this is a bit of deja vu for ya? Reno's King? So he doesn't actually know what happened. If I might ask, what were you doing in that place to begin with? I don't need to answer it. Oh? After all, you're not representing me. He is going to need a lawyer, though. Your defense. Who is going to be representing you in court, Lord Van Zieks? Anyone other than you, I should imagine. Would I be right in assuming that you have no representation as yet? Defense lawyers shy away from any trial involving the Reaper, as I'm sure you know. But this is different. In my career, of all the defendants I've prosecuted, only 19 have ever been acquitted. Of them, 16 subsequently died in mysterious circumstances. Questions will be asked now. Surely not! I assure you, no defense lawyer will want to touch me with the end of a barge pole. But you didn't actually have anything to do with those people's deaths, did you? It's been 10 years now, and I've been known as the Reaper of the Bailey. Believe me, nobody wants to know the true identity of this Kilmore than I. However, it seems things may come to a head before I have the chance to uncover the truth about that. What does he mean by that? Ow. After the trial, Professor Harebrain was supposed to go straight back to Germany, I thought. It's left to inform you of his safe arrival at home. I arranged his passage by sea and rail. It's a relief, I must say. He should now be beyond the reaches of the Reaper. Because the Reaper doesn't follow people abroad, you mean? Yes, so it seems. I've got a hunch that the Reaper is actually the Professor. because at the end of the day, out of all the people who were in court with Ryunosuke representing them, only McGilded was the one to die. Everyone else survived. A stupid little Nipponese friend, for example. He told me he was keeping well in Japan when I inquired the other day. Yes, that's right, he's an orphan now, happily working in Tokyo. So Professor Harebrain is safely back in Germany now. He is. So, it appears our conversation has run dry. There was a 2-second silence, that's all. Well, in any event, if you'll excuse me now, I wouldn't like to detain you. I was wondering, Lord Van Zieks, if you'd like, I'd be happy to advocate for you. You trust me, do you? Yes! I've heard you speak many times in court. I've seen how you treat people, so I'm quite sure that you would never have taken another's life. It's just my feelings can't be used as evidence in a court of law, sadly. It's a very gracious offer, however. I trust no one. What? Not the police, not the judiciary, and not you Nipponese. But please! I have no intention of engaging in your services. The chasm between us is just too wide and too deep, it seems. I'd appreciate it if you don't visit again. Neither of us were wasting more time. Perhaps we need to dig a little deeper and find out more about Lord Van Zieks and what happened to Inspector Gregson. "1st November, room on Fresno Street." Ah yes, you old chalk outline. This really is an out of the way part of London. I doubt many people find their way on this back street. So this just rented old room is where it happened then. So this is where poor Inspector Gregson lost his life. They had hard work investigating, it seems. I don't see Mr. Sholmes anywhere though. It does feel weird. I expected Inspector Gregson to appear just then. I forgot he was the one who was dead. Perhaps investigations have taken him elsewhere. Oi, what do you think you're doing there? Every one of them drawers has got to be taken right out so you can look underneath and all. I want the space above the ceiling checked, and don't forget to look inside the chimney stack too. Blimey, ain't you like never gone over an house looking for dough when the owners are out of town? Tina's obviously got some unique investigative techniques she wants someone to adopt. Oh, so you've turned up at last. Mind you, I ain't been here long myself. Hello again, Gina. Sholmes has only just left. You're lucky you missed that. You went prancing around in here, pointing out stuff and flicking that out of his, and then just scarfed. Oh, he's finished investigating already, you mean? Yeah. He didn't stop to say nothing to no one. Even me. Gina, would you mind if we investigate too? Listen, Odo. You're a lawyer, right? Yes. Why? Well, you're not thinking of trying to help that Reaper bloke, are you? Oh, poor Gina. She's never going to forget, is she? That try will haunt her forever. Gina, if you don't mind me saying, if Lord Van Zieks really is responsible for this crime, he'll be duly and fairly judged in court. I suppose you're right, yeah. Go on then, Odo. Get investigating. I want to know the truth about what really happened there. Thank you, Gina. Peeled wallpaper. Smashed window. Somebody's very haphazardly nailed. You couldn't even really call it a window anymore. Well, if you remember the window in Mr. Natsumi's room, that was totally blocked up even with bricks. This one does at least still let in some light, so... You can say nothing more about it! I'm starting to feel even more sorry for Mr. Natsumi now. Oh, what's this? It appeared to be a little model policeman. It's rather charming, isn't it? In a way. Seeing as there's some on the floor here, do you think it belonged to Inspector Gregson? It's a little hard to imagine Lord Van Zeeks playing with something like this. It's only about 8 centimeters tall. It'll fall out of someone's pocket, I suppose. I think we should record it as evidence, just in case. Yes, I agree. It is rather delightful, after all, in a way. The helmet of this charming policeman appears to be a little worse for wear. I'm not convinced about the charming part, but yes, you're right. The head part looks like it's been fairly heavily manhandled. Almost as if someone has enjoyed twisting it around and around for fun. Shall we try twisting it around and around too for fun? What? It appears to be some sort of key. It's tiny though. It couldn't be a key for a door, not that size. What was it for, I wonder? Details of the policeman figurine have been updated in the court record. A model of a British policeman found at the scene of the crime on Fresno Street. Giving it a twist causes a key-like shaft to pop out from the base. This looks like some sort of key. Yes, it does. A very tiny and simple key. What's a little key doing inside the figurine of a policeman in the first place? What's it for? So I suppose this is where the victim... That's right, the rope is laid around the body to show exactly how it was found. Quite Inspector Gregson himself has been taken away. Yeah, they've always done that in crime shows. And I think in the olden days too. And we'll probably be under Dr. Scythe's scalp by now, if not for what happened last week. From the shape of the rope, it would appear that the inspector was curled up in a ball. Are you feeling alright, Miss Naruhodo? You look like you've just seen a ghost. I know it's just a rope, but, well, it conjures up quite a terrifying image, that's all. Especially with that blood stain next to it. Oh, I do understand. In some ways, what we picture in our minds can be even worse than reality. Sato-san is so strong, though. She's taken this far better than I am. Ever since we came in here, I can't take my eyes on this thing. Oh, funnily enough, neither can I. It's a hairpiece, isn't it? It is! A very red hairpiece, and I suppose the fact that it's right there next to where the body was found means we have to accept that Inspector Gregson wore wigs, does it? And such flame-coloured red too. Yes, that's colour we've come across very recently elsewhere, isn't it? Exactly, this is a vital clue, I'm sure of it. I've always wondered what the underside of a hairpiece looks like. It doesn't surprise me at all, Miss Naruhodo. You always want to see what lies beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I'd put it. You must have to use lots of bird lime to keep it in place on your head. So it doesn't get blown off in a gust of wind, I mean. That might be a little inconvenient when you want it to take off again, don't you think? This is presumably the murder weapon then. Oh my! It is real, I suppose? I think so. Guns are so rare in Japan, I really know very little about. Don't wait, no, for sure, Miss Naruto. Fire shot. No, no, no! If I did that, I'd be looking for a skilled lawyer to represent me in court. It's safer just ask something might know, I think. Yeah, and he's probably still got bad taste in his mouth from what happened about... How long's it been now? Since the incident with... Aishin. Excuse me? If you're looking down on us from the great beyond, Inspector, don't worry, we'll look after things up there. I've interrupted some deep thoughts now. Excuse me? Sorry, sir. Can't see a thing, sir. Too many tears, sir. Right, perhaps I'd better leave you to your work. Excuse me? Oh, Inspector. Oh, sir. Oh man, he can't possibly be able to focus on investigating when he's so upset. I suppose this must have been a murder weapon. Oh my, it is real, I suppose. I think so. Oh god, here we go again. Perhaps I'm more familiar with that. Gina, what do you make of this? What is that? Evidence? Worked something out about what happened, have you? Oh, no, not exactly. I ain't been long enough in the job to get all this deducting business yet. But so I'm gonna get the person what did this to the boss. Gina, what was Inspector Gregson doing here in the first place? That's what I want to know. It's what, half a year since I got out of the clink? That's when I decided to give up my diving and become a detective instead. Oh yes, Mr. Sholmes twisted the inspector's arm to take on as an apprentice, didn't he? Something like that, I think. Anyway, the point is, I didn't really know much about the boss till then. But it turns out he's a bit of a legend at the yard. Goodness, really? They say he managed to solve some really tricky case. Just like that. He did? Yep, and ever since then, he started going out on all sorts of investigations, but always on his own. No one else at the yard even knows what half the cases he's working on now, apparently. What is this place then? Does anyone live here? Apparently it's being rented by some co called Hugh Boone. Hugh Boone. It's a sort of here today, gone tomorrow name that, isn't it? Yeah, he's what we call an unidentified person. We haven't been able to get in touch with him. I see. Well, judging from appearance, so I'd have to say this place hasn't been lived in for a long time, if ever. Right? All lads from the yard piled down to get stuck into the investigation. But there's so little here, no one knew what to do with themselves. I do wonder. Yes, Mr. Sato? Well, could it be that this Hugh Boone is in fact Inspector Gregson himself? What? How could that be? Well, if he was investigating on his own, it's quite possible And this was in fact some kind of secret office of his. I'd never even considered that. Nice work, Suze. We're actually following the line of inquiry like that ourselves. Yeah? Look around the room, you'll see. There's a few things that hint at it. Should really investigate this place in detail. You see that's where the point inspector over there. They say there was a single bullet what did him in. Apparently the bullet went right through him and struck that candle tree on the wall. Oh yes, it's blown one of the candles apart completely. And the gun used is now on the floor. It's Reaper's in it, no denying that. What, really? How do you know that? Take it easy. I don't know what to do with myself when you stare at me with them big wide eyes. I'm just saying what I've heard. I don't know much about guns myself, but there's some bigwig lawman or whoever said so. Why don't you ask him? Bigwig lawman, is it? Anyway, Fresno Street runs along that window there. There are some street sellers just outside where the gunshot. Oh, but I don't recall seeing anyone outside. Yeah, they've all been taken down the yard for questioning, that's why. They're talking about the yard's legendary inspector in, after all. I began a grilling. Do you think we might be able to speak with those street sellers ourselves? Doubt it. And outside the yard, we'll just want to know what you're snooping for, and you'll be up for a grilling and all. So I can't interview the witnesses. Shame. Examine. This looks like some sort of notice board or something, and it's absolutely covered in scraps of paper. Ah, Miss Naruhodo, look! Yes, you mean it's an autopsy report, isn't it? And these are case notes here. The details of prints and inmates. Yes, in fact, they're all the sorts of documents only a detective could normally acquire. What on earth went on in this room? Some old newspaper cuttings. Ah, and this one here! Oh yes, the advertisement, you mean? To the red-headed lead. But why? What's that doing here? Whoever occupied this room was clearly interested in it for some reason. The top of one of the candles in this candle holder has been completely blown off. Yes, there's wax splattered on the wall behind, look. I suppose if a bullet hit it, it does seem likely that the bullet hit the candle, having first passed through the inspector's body. Now that wax on the wall looks like blood to me. Oh, it's a photograph stand. I suppose it must be a picture of one of Inspector Gregson's family members. Ah! What's the matter? Your eyes look like they're about to pop out your head. They are, look! Miss Naruhodo, quickly! Why do I feel like this woman is familiar somehow? Evie? Of course she's familiar, we met only this morning. Ah! It's Miss Vigil! This makes no sense. Why wouldn't there be a picture of Miss Vigil in here? To be frank, I don't think I've ever been more stumped. So sorry to say, I have no idea either. The famed photograph has been entered into the court record. November. British Supreme Court of London, Lord Chief Justice's antechamber office. Why did I say antechamber? I was thinking of the Old Bailey. You made good time. I took an express train back to London. I can hear Lord Strongheart, can you? Yes, it sounds as though he's talking to someone. Kazuma! Is everything in place? I had a private compartment on the train so I could check all the paperwork. It's Kazuma-sama! Ah, your timing is impeccable. It is? No doubt you have heard the sickening news about the Reaper's latest devilry. Yes? I'm sure you don't believe it, of course. No, Lord Strongheart? And Lord Van Zieks could have done such a thing to Inspector Gregson? I believe only in the facts, and facts in this case point to one thing. The unavoidable accusal of Lord Van Zieks for this crime. We must bring charges against the Reaper for taking the life of our legendary detective. Oh no, surely not! It's a truly regrettable situation. Tomorrow, the Forensic Science Symposium finally begins. At the very least, we can show the world our justice system's swift and equitable processes. So does that mean the trial is tomorrow? Precisely. In fact, this is a fine opportunity for introductions. Kazuma! Ah, but of course, you're already acquainted, aren't you? Quesamo, Mr. Sogi here will be present at tomorrow's proceedings, leading the prosecution. Wait! What? Kazuma? As I'm sure you're aware, he's a very capable practitioner of law. Kazuma-sama, a prosecutor? I'm sure you can imagine that tomorrow's trial will be closely followed all over London. In fact, no. People all over the Empire will be watching closely to see how it unfolds. There's no salvation for anyone in a trial prosecuted by the Reaper and Bailey, and now the Reaper himself must stand in the dock. Quite so. The public want answers about the Reaper. Answers about how and why those who escaped conviction subsequently died mysterious deaths. But Lord Van Zieks firmly denies any involvement in such matters. And there have been thorough investigations that have proven him to be innocent. That's certainly true, or it has been at least. Until now. Ah! No, tomorrow's trial will mark the start of a new chapter in our country's great judicial history. Prosecutor Asogi. So, Kazuma will be prosecuting tomorrow? That's right. But he's a defense lawyer, Lord Strongheart. Accomplished young law practitioners cannot pick and choose their roles. And imagine what it would mean for the prosecution to know the strategies commonly employed by the defense. A devastating combination, wouldn't you agree? Absolutely. I have no doubt at all that Kazuma will be razor sharp as a prosecutor. But why Kazuma-sama? There are surely many other highly skilled prosecutors in Great Britain. It was a personal request. I asked to be signed to the trial. You asked for this? But why? It'll all become clear tomorrow. I'm guessing you intend to stand for the defense, don't you? Oh no, the Reaper appears to be turning down all offers of representation. I'm surprised such a personal request would have been upheld. It seems unprecedented. Quite exceptional, in fact. This is either about His father or testing Naruhodo. Or testing Rinosuke, I mean. You're quite right. You're quite right, Miss Mikotoba. Tomorrow's trial will be unprecedented and exceptional in every way. After all, the accused is one of Britain's greatest prosecutors, the pride of the Empire. It would be unwise to give the public a reason to perceive it as the judiciary closing ranks. So that's why you're happy to let a foreigner handle the prosecution. Rinosuke, let's see how your skills have been honed. After practicing law in this land for so many months. Kazuma, I don't understand why you're being so hostile to me now. This isn't going to end well, my friend. This is the real Kazuma, Rinosuke. Oh yes, we noticed that there was a gun at the scene of Inspector Jackson's death. Do you know if it belongs to Lord Van Zeeks? That would be a question for the lead detective investigating the scene. Well, the thing is, she wasn't sure, so she told me I should ask somebody higher up who might know. That's right, Miss Naruhodo. Be direct. It's certainly a model that's issued to all personnel involved in law enforcement, yes. Which includes prosecutors, as I'm sure you can imagine. In that case, it could actually belong to the victim. No, Gregson had his gun on his person. What about Lord Van Zeeks? He claims there's currently not in his possession. Well, according to his story, he lost it. In short, it's more than a little suspicious. But just because the gun in question is the same type as the defendant's, it's no proof that it's actually his. God, I could not have said that any faster. No, of course not. Nevertheless, the situation is grave for Lord Van Zeeks. I'm sorry for all the worry I've caused you, but it'll be alright now. Has your memory completely returned? Yes, completely. I remember everything, including what I was coming here to do. Right. Kazuma-san, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you alive and well like this. But how did you come to be here in London when you were suffering from amnesia? It was a voice. This past year, I've been hearing it in my head constantly, saying the same thing over and over. Go to London. That's where your destiny awaits. It was that voice that guided me here to London. I'm so sorry for what's happened. Anyway, my memory might have returned to me, but there's something that won't return to the way it was before. Huh? What do you mean? I'm a prosecutor now, so I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon. Doesn't look like we're going to glean much more here. Well, thank you very much, Lord Songhart. Remember, tomorrow's trial will go down in our Empire's history. There's much you can learn. Sorry to have taken up so much of your time. We'll see ourselves out.
Hold it!
Before you go, Rinosuke. Oh, what is it, Kazuma? I just wanted to thank you. Kazuma-sama, what? You took my determination to heart and brought it with you over the ocean in my stead. And you carried out my role to perfection. You always were intent on studying British law in order to change our justice system. It was your dream, and Mr. Naruhodo didn't want that to die with you. Yes, but I had another purpose for coming here. Oh! I actually have a favour to ask. Which is, this trial I'll be prosecuting tomorrow, I'd like you to be there to see how it ends. Right in front of me, as the defense counsel. Why? What's this all about? Yep, probably a test. Probably a test to see how far he's come over in the past. I don't know, yeah. I know you have what it takes. But Lord Van Zieks would never put his fate in my hands. On the contrary, he recognizes your talent. He does. It's not easy to see behind the facade sometimes. Here, have a look at this. That's Lord Van Zieks and Inspector Gregson. In a photograph that must have been taken some time ago by the look of it. And who's the third person? It was displayed very prominently in the detective's office. Gregson's office, you mean? Yes, what I'm trying to say is, if you really think you can trust the Reaper, you might find that some straight talking makes him take a different view. Take it. I don't understand. Why are you giving me this? Just hurry, Renosuke. Visiting hours at the prison are almost over. What are you doing, Kazuma? November. Lord Van Zieks is still reading that letter. He's been gone quite some time now. Either he's an incredibly slow reader, or it's an incredibly long letter. I might even be able to read English faster than he can. I was intending to ignore you entirely. But I can't turn a deaf ear to such an insult in Japanese. Oh, sorry, I didn't think you'd hear that. I had the case notes brought to me in secret. I was reading them to pass the time. Yes, we heard that you're trying to set up for tomorrow. Which is none of your business. So, have you found a lawyer? How many times must I reiterate the same thing? This has nothing to do with you. In other words, no. We were just talking to Lord Strongheart, and the prosecutor for your trial has been decided. I expect nothing less, though I have no idea who it is. It's going to be Kazuma Asogi. Asogi. That made the colour drain from his face. Well then. It seems I'm going to have to engage in conversation with you again after all. Converse. Asogi. 10 years ago, my older brother, who was the director of prosecution at the time, was murdered. And the killer, as you know, was a visiting student from the Far East. Not a single day goes by where I don't curse the name Asogi. Kenshin Asogi was Kazuma-sama's father. So what cruel twist of fate is this now, 10 years later? Man's son is to crucify me in some kangaroo court? I don't understand why Lord Strongheart apprenticed Kazuma to you. It's what he does. No doubt he knew of the young man's true identity from the outset. But what could he have been hoping to achieve? And let's not forget that it was only 8 days ago that Kazuma recovered from his amnesia. Why would Lord Strongheart sign this trial to someone like that? So that name is the very epitome of my bane. The bane that is you Nipponese. Right, your hatred of all us Japanese. I've only just been appointed as a prosecutor. When it happened 10 years ago, my brother, Clint, the director of prosecution, was hunting down a mass murderer, the so-called professor. Assigned to the investigation as partner was a certain visiting student, a Sparks from Scotland Yard. And that was Genshin Asogi? Exactly. I developed a deep respect for the man. He seemed noble-minded and chivalrous in the extreme to me. But none of us saw the true nature of this man. So I lost everything when it happened. My esteemed brother, the people I believed in, and any semblance of right prevailing over wrong. Oh, how awful. To avenge my brother, prosecuting the Asogi's trial, wouldn't ordinarily have been allowed, but I believed the ascribed prosecutor and he consented. What do you mean by the ascribed prosecutor? The man in charge of the Professor case inquiry, Lord Mael Strongheart. Wait, what? Lord Strongheart? He was a highly accomplished prosecutor, but he agreed to relinquish the trial to me and act as my advisor instead. Since that time, he's the one person to whom I felt indebted. I'm sure he must have seen your zeal for the case and recognized your potential as a prosecutor. Anyway, time passed, but then earlier this year, who should I in London but you? Ah! And, of all things, as a lawyer. I thought your animosity the first time I ever faced you in the courtroom. Your obvious deep loathing of us Japanese. I kept telling myself it was logical. But for so many years, that hatred had festered inside me. I could no longer control it. I can understand why, now I know the history. But in the same way that I've long felt that the Japanese are the bane of my life. The Kazuma Asogi, I am the bane of his. The Reaper who sent his father to the gallows. He's looking for revenge, and he intends to take it in court tomorrow. So there's a chance that he did the same thing. Lord Vinci, you came by this old photograph. Where did you get that? It was taken when I became a qualified prosecutor. It's almost unbelievable. I assumed it was long lost. Is the man on the left there? Yes, that's my brother, Clint. It had to be, really. I had a hunch it was. Apparently, this picture is prominently displayed in Greggson's office. He had a deep respect for you, you know. Were you aware of that? Respect? That's nonsense! No, we've heard someone attest to it very clearly. Inspector Gina Lestrade, no less. Well, maybe once, yes. There was a time things were like that. We are brothers in arms, jovially discussing the future of justice and other such lofty subject matter. That was a nice glimpse of the past. Thank you. Feels like I got a nice glimpse of the past and insight into the true nature of this man known to all as the Stone Cold Reaper the Bailey. Yeah, everyone's got an inside face. I mean, outside of YouTube, I'm pretty much monotone. Feel a lot less emotion. Greggson's transfer to the Paris Police Prefecture had finally arranged for the following month. He'll never make it to France now. It's a tragedy. Oh yes, come to think of it, he did mention something about that, didn't he? I wonder, does that happen often? Being transferred internationally, I mean. It's the first time I've ever encountered. Oh! The Paris police welcoming an English detective is almost inconceivable. I can't imagine what kind of magic Gregson must have worked to put that arrangement in place. Sounds like that mystery is even re-perplexed. I'm afraid to say that we were very ignorant about Inspector Gregson's standing. We hear that he was considered something of a legend in that Scotland Yard. Again, it was 10 years ago that he first made the inference, by uncovering a decisive piece of evidence that exposed the person's identity. If it wasn't for Gregson's singular approach, the case and the discovery would never have been made. What sort of approach? After my brother's life was taken, the inspector pushed upon full autopsy. Oh my, 10 years ago? Why is that so surprising? An autopsy was considered a desecration of the body at the time, and rarely performed. My brother was of course a noble. That made the idea of it even more unthinkable. But something Gregson had dug up in his investigations made him determined it was necessary. His powerful conviction somehow influenced the House of Lords. As a result, I could avenge my brother's death. So we've now seen the real side of Kazuma. Talk about good cop, bad cop. So he must have had great confidence in the inspector's abilities then. And it's even more inconceivable that you would have taken his life. Inspector Gregson. About the gun used to shoot the inspector that was found at the scene. Yes, that's not mine. Really? Because common opinion seems to be how it is. What do you expect me to say to that? Lord Songhai informs us that you claim to have misplaced your firearm. As embarrassing as that is, I'm afraid it's true. When did you lose it then? That I don't know. Oh! I was issued with a revolver when I first became a prosecutor 10 years ago. Must have stole it somewhere, I suppose. Or left it somewhere, perhaps. You have something in common with Lord Van Zeeks after all, Miss Naho. A talent for misplacing things. No, no, no. This has nothing to do with me. Don't drag me into it. Don't make the mistake of associating me with this Nipponese. Oh dear, the rift is very wide, isn't it? So it's not decisive evidence, clearly. It doesn't look good, that's for sure. Mr. Naruhodo? Huh? He's not referred to me as my learned friend this time. Oh, that's the first time he's ever used my actual name. I've lost all confidence in my country's justice system. I don't trust to please the judiciary or lawyers. There's still one thing I'm willing to believe in. What's that? That which you see in the eyes of another across the courtroom. Simple determination to know the truth. Lord Van Zeeks! From the very first time we clashed in the Bailey almost a year ago now. I couldn't deny it, even though I clearly wished I could. Here is a loathsome Nipponese, who has absolute integrity as a lawyer. And there are only two other men I've known with that same look in their eyes. My brother, Clint, and Genshin Asogi. The man he idolized and the man who betrayed his trust in the most hideous way. When you showed me that photograph just now, it reminded me. You mean this photograph? Back then I was able to laugh. I was free of the shackles of mistrust that plague me now. I looked to the future with hope. Since then, I've protected myself against betrayal by refusing to trust anyone. The creepy thing is that I can actually relate. When I first moved down south, I was worried that people would think of me as some sort of hooligan. And the scum of the earth. Fuck, whatever you want to call him. Because I came from a violent place. So in school I would just distance myself by staying in IT suite every lunchtime, break time. Since then I've protected myself against... Yep. But at times the mire into which I've sunk makes it almost impossible to breathe. I'm so sorry. So, Mr. Naruto, I want to believe in that look in your eyes. I need to believe in it. In tomorrow's trial, will you advocate for me? Well, not like Kazuma gave us a choice. But sure, of course I will. It would be an honor. I'm so pleased, Miss Naruto. Then my life is in your hands. For Lord Van Zieks, that must have been an incredibly hard thing to ask, which is why I simply cannot let the man down. Tomorrow, in the Old Bailey, against my old friend, Kazuma. For the last time. So that's what it means by Twisted Karma, because he was classed as Reaper, and now he's been arrested, because the rumours have pretty much linked him to being behind Gregson's death. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Like how before, the return of the great departed soul, well, while it might have been thought to be linked to the Professor, it was actually the return of Kazuma. There's that old familiar feeling again, the crushing pressure of this historic courthouse. Actually, no, it's a little different today. There's an even more menacing tension in the air. There's a menacing tension in the air here today, isn't there, I suppose? Funny enough, that sums up how I'm feeling right now, because, well, since my cat died. Since my cat's been put down last week, rather. Yes, I think so. It can only be the result of the menacing appearance of the defendant. A little more Oh my! I do apologise. However, you're certainly not mistaken that this trial is far from ordinary. What do you mean? I'm not privy to the details, however, I understand that no jury has been selected. A trial without a jury? Well, that's just like trying the Professor 10 years ago. Closed court. Good morning, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes. How you made note of my hair, Miss Naruto? An outright victory for science, you must agree. To be perfectly honest, so much happened yesterday that, well, I completely forgot about your little haircut. Ha! What to one man is a little haircut? It's another day of drinking dubious potion after dubious potion. You have no idea how my stomach ails me this morning. Oh dear, how awful for you. I'm afraid you only have yourself to blame, Mr. Sholmes. And good morning to you, Mr. Reaper. I'm glad to see you looking so full of vim. And are you? I see London's celebrated great detective is as active as ever. Oh, you exaggerate, my dear fellow, compared to my paltry engagements with a few trivial cases. Reaper's overbearing presence is a far greater deterrent to the black roots of crime in our capital. And whilst I may not agree with your methods, there is at least one point on which I would readily commend you. What an honour that would be. Your eye for a good lawyer, sir. Mr. Sholmes! After all, behind this lawyer is a very great mind, my own. What are you trying to say? I wish only to say that you should be prepared for quite a trial, Mr. Reaper. Sorry to barge in. Gina! What's on her arm? It's a mourning band, I suppose. Father! Shouldn't you be at the symposium? It's been postponed, so I have some free time. I decided to come along with the police inspector to see our country's up-and-coming student in action. I should be very interested to see the fruits of your studies over the past year. Well, it's an honor to have you here. Let's hope there are some fruits to see. Odo? Oh, yes, Gina? Why did you agree to this, eh? Why did you take him on? This Reaper bloke, everyone said it was him what killed the boss. I'm sorry, Gina, but I just don't believe that. But if it weren't him, who was it? I don't know that yet. I don't care who calls him what. The Reaper's just a name. He's just a person at the end of the day. Exactly. People say it's linked to him because he goes by the name of the Reaper. And if it turns out it was him who what killed the boss, then God help him. Fiery eyes indeed. Yes, the culprit deserves every ounce of your loathing. Eh? At least, that may be some solace to the deceased. But please, Odo. Get whoever did this for the boss. Oh, Gina. I hate feeling this useless, but there's nothing I can do. So you gotta find you've done this and make the reg pay. That's my intention. I am a lawyer after all. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court will be in session shortly. Make your way into the courtroom at once, please. Alright then, here we go. It's time, Miss Snowherder. Lord Van Zeeks. Then again, it makes sense that it'd be one who lost his treasured brother to mass murderer. One who lost his treasured father in a foreign court of law. And one who lost the man who helped to escape destitution. All that misfortune, all that pain, and forced to collide headlong in this trial. It's time to shine a light on all these dark events. And whatever truth is revealed, we're going to have to look it straight in the eye. November, 9:20 AM, the Old Bailey courtroom. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are here to conduct a fair and just trial of the defendant Baruch Van Zeeks. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready to begin? The defense is ready, Lord. The prosecution is more than ready. Oh, Cosmoson. I've been wishing to see you in court again for so long, it feels. But I never pictured it happening like this. I never thought I'd be facing you behind the prosecution's bench. The so-called Reaper of the Bailey has been a scourge like no other, undermining Her Majesty's justice system. Today, we must uncover the truth behind the scourge. In other words, this trial is going to be a lot more far-reaching than Inspector Gregson's murder. The truths revealed by these proceedings may have unpredictable repercussions for the judiciary. Accordingly, they are to be conducted as a closed trial, with no members of the public present, by Her Majesty's direct orders. How will that work, my lord? The burden of all arbitration and adjudication falls on my shoulders. Therefore, as you will see, the jurors' bench shall remain vacant today. If no members of the public are present, might I ask who is currently occupying the gallery, my lord? They are members of the judiciary, here to witness proceedings and ensure an equitable trial. Members of the judiciary. Oh my, this is a very unusual trial already. There is, of course, another unprecedented aspect to these proceedings on which I must elaborate. The counsels for the prosecution and the defense are both aliens of Great Britain. I believe it takes an outside to see the truth sometimes. And as I stand here in this courtroom now, I'm quite certain this is the reason why I had to come to Britain. Kazuma! Very well, let us commence proceedings. Prosecutor Asogi, your opening statement, if you please. Certainly, my lord. The incident took place on 1st November at just after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The location was a building of flats on Fresno Street on the outskirts of the city. The victim's body was discovered there in an old single-room rental property. Yes, Inspector Tobias Gregson, a name known very well indeed to this court. Not least for his miraculous resolution of one of this country's grimmest cases 10 years ago. Professor Case. How sure are you about the time of the incident? Several witnesses on the street outside heard the gunshot, and all have reported the same time. Yes, that's what Gina told us too. There were a number of witnesses. I have here a plan of the room. The victim was found curled up in one corner. It's believed that he was shot from the front at point-blank range and died instantly. How has the range been determined? There were scorch marks around the entry wound. Such marks are caused by the gunpowder used to fire the bullet. But powder hot enough to leave scorch marks is only ejected a few inches beyond the end of the barrel. In other words, it only happens when the target is at point-blank range. I see, yes. Thank you for the detailed explanation, Counsel. The autopsy report has been entered into the court record. The murder weapon was found lying beside the victim. And have you managed to ascertain the owner of this firearm? No, my lord, not conclusively. Bravo, Kazuma-sama. I'm not trying to use a gun as evidence when its provenance can't be proven. Furthermore, my lord, as I explained, the revolver was fired at extremely close range. The bullet passed through the victim and struck the wall behind him. There was a candelabrum mounted on the wall, and the tip of one of the candles in it was found to have been blown off by the projectile. We noticed that too, didn't we? Yes, that's right. Thank you for the full report, Counsel. The setting of the crime is clear to me. You'll submit the plan of the crime scene as evidence, please? As you wish, my lord. Is this Fresno Street from Inspector Gregson's private abode? Ah, there's some black marks here, look. Yes, and they look like some sort of scorch marks. So perhaps the bullet struck the candle here, do you think? It's only just one candle that's been cracked in half, it seems. Yes, I think you might be right. Firearms are rarely used by criminals in Japan. I'm afraid I'm not particularly knowledgeable about them. So this is the type of revolver that's standard issue for members of the judiciary then. Yes, I might ask about whether records are kept about who their Issue 2. I was told now for the past 5 years they've been engraved with a unique serial number. Oh, but as far as I can tell, there's nothing like that on this gun. Which tells us they must have been issued longer ago than that. No, my lord. The room is rented to Mr. Hugh Boom. There is precious little furniture inside, and it is generally in a poor state of repair. So what on earth was Gregson even doing there? Presumably he was investigating some case over. When a policeman was informed of the gunshot from the witnesses and rushed to the scene, he found only the deceased inspector and the accused standing alongside holding the revolver. The attending officer arrested the accused on the spot. So, the details of the case are clear. In that case, the prosecution would like to call its first witness. A name, please, counsel? Naturally, the accused himself. Lord Van Zieks! As a prosecutor, he believes in the oath of office he's taken and will be compelled to tell the truth. Very well, let the defendant take the witness stand. So, witness, state your name and occupation for the court. Baruch Van Zieks, Old Bailey prosecutor. I presume, Lord Van Zieks, that you heard Prosecutor Asogi's opening precise? I did. It is alleged that you were found at the scene of the crime and that you were arrested by the arriving police officer. Can you confirm this? Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Then I'm sure the court would like to hear you explain some things away. Namely, why you were there in the room on Fresno Street at the time in question, and what exactly took place. I intend to explain away nothing, I will simply tell the truth. I must say, Lord Van Zieks, I never imagined this day would come. Or rather, I didn't want to imagine it would come. But since you became known as the Reaper, a part of me has been dreading it. Your formal testimony then, witness? The facts of the incident. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address. When I first entered the room that day, it was dark inside and I saw no one. A moment later, I heard the gunshot. I spun around and saw the revolver on the floor. Just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. This is definite deja vu for both Inosuke and Kazuma. That's probably what Kazuma wanted Inosuke to be the lawyer as well. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. That testimony was the whole truth. It was. So, you heard a shot being fired in the room with no living occupants, and moments later, a corpse somehow appeared before your eyes. Is that it? You're right, you haven't explained away anything. In fact, that would barely qualify as an excuse. I thought you were my mute apprentice. Yet it turns out you have a way with words, Prosecutor Asogi. It would appear to be a singular tale indeed. Singular is in the word. It's laughable. What's gone into Cosmo? He's not behaving like himself at all. Of course he's not. This is the true Cosmo. Plus, it's personal business to him because it was his. Very well. Counsel, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. I was investigating Gregson, and my inquiries had led me to that address.
Hold it!
You were investigating the inspector? What on earth for? I'm not at liberty to say. Sorry? I'd identified a distinct possibility that Gregson was involved in the case I was investigating. Regrettably though, he was killed before I could secure the proof I needed. Is the court to understand then that on the day in question you followed the victim to the scene? No, I was privy to his movements and events. How? I stole into his office in the yard and consulted his diary. The address on Fresno Street was noted in the 5 PM entry. You illegally entered the man's office. In Japan, that alone would constitute a very serious offence. As it does in Great Britain, I assure you. Is that not the case, Lord Van Zieks? I was aware of the possible consequences. So, in summary, you were investigating the victim, and yet you refuse to tell the court why. I didn't realize British prosecutors enjoyed such freedom to choose what to divulge in the oath. That's why I could never become one. Why did I ever think I could defend this man?
Hold it!
Had you ever been to the address before? No, never. I only learned of the place as a result of my investigations into Gregson's activities. There was no light inside when I entered, so it was impossible to make out anything. But at 5 PM the sun would only have just gone down. It would still have been reasonably light outside. The room has a window, but it was boarded shut. Very little light found its way into the room from outside, so it is extremely murky inside. I wouldn't have noticed if the victim was already lying on the floor. There was no artificial light in the room, you say? You're quite sure? I'm quite sure that the part of the room where the body was found was very dark. I have a feeling there was a small oil lamp burning on the desk. I couldn't say for certain. Look, Miss Naruhodo. There is a small desk in the room just here. Yes, I remember, and there was an oil lamp on it, as well as the framed photograph. When I entered the room, I closed the door behind me and started towards the desk to investigate. And what did you find? Nothing. I never actually reached the desk.
Hold it!
So, who fired the gun? I have no idea. I didn't see anybody else in the room. But you say it was very dark in there. Yes, that's right. All I can tell you is, I didn't sense another's presence. Aha! Then could it be... the gunshot actually originated from somewhere outside the room? No, that's out of the question. Oh. Without doubt, if the sound emanated from inside the room, I could smell the gunpowder. This has gone from bad to worse. You say that's the point at which you noticed the revolver on the floor. Correct. And I foolishly picked it up. That was carelessness on my part. Presumably then, the gunshot you heard came from the firearm that you somewhat hastily took in your hands? In point of fact, my lord, I believe it did not. What? The barrel of the revolver I picked up was cold, and there was no smell of spent powder. But then, where on earth is the gun that was fired? First, I would like to oblige you with an answer. I'm afraid I can't. I too would really like to know that. Just as I picked up...
Hold it!
A man, you say? One of the witnesses, I presume? That's right. One of the street merchants working on Fresno Street. Who are these merchants? A number of them had set up their stalls directly beneath the body window of the crime scene. A match seller, a newsmonger, and a peddler. They've all given statements saying they heard the gunshot, and without thought of danger, they ran inside to see what happened. Yes, Gina told us about that yesterday, didn't she? They burst through the door with some force, it would seem. They did, but it almost gave me a heart attack in the process. But you're supposed to be the Reaper. The first man to come in immediately noticed a revolver in my hand and fled. A policeman patrolling on Fresno Street heard the commotion and was able to arrest the accused shortly after the incident occurred. Anyway, the man's scream drew my attention in that direction.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? In what way did the body appear? I honestly can't explain, but it's the truth. As far as I was concerned, the body hadn't been there until that point, and then suddenly there it was. Did you perhaps hear the sound of the victim falling to the ground just beforehand? At that moment, what I heard was the sound of the door flying open and the scream of the man who came inside first, and nothing more. I see. After the man fled, I examined the body. I was stunned to find that was Gregson. Most curious circumstances indeed. How the inspector was killed, or how his body seemed to appear out of nowhere, I have no idea.
Objection!
Surely the court has heard enough. My lord, the cross-examination has clearly revealed that the accused, Baroque Forensics, is lying on multiple fronts. What? What is that supposed to mean? Good gracious, counsel! The defendant is lying, you say? In his testimony just now, he claims that he failed to notice the victim's body because the room was dark. That's correct? No, that's impossible. As proven by this candelabrum. How does that prove anything? If you examine the tip of the long candle, you can see it has been blown off by a powerful impact. One would assume that a projectile from the firearm passed through the victim and struck the candle. How do we know it's ignited? The problem comes when you consider the other two candles, which are clearly of a different length. Yes, you can see that only the candle that appears to have been struck by the bullet is long. You could reasonably expect someone to have lit all three candles together, which begs the question of why only one has ended up longer than the others. And that must be because that particular candle was extinguished when the others were still burning. Ah! That's right. When the candle was hit by the bullet, it obviously went out. But the other two candles would still have been burning, so the fact is, the victim's body would have been illuminated by the light still thrown by that candelabrum. And the accused claim that I couldn't see the body clearly contradicts those facts. And now, to the next line. There's more. The accused also claims never to have visited the scene of the crime before. That's the truth. In that almost empty room, the police discovered something very unusual. A board covered from top to bottom with police documents and newspaper clippings. Yes, that's right. We saw it too. It goes without saying that the contents of the police documents cannot be divulged. However, they include a number of reports from various historical cases, the oldest of which was from 10 years ago. 10 years ago. This is starting to sound familiar. And there is a common thread linking all of the documents on that board. Indeed, what is this common thread, Council? Starting me this picture. They all relate to cases prosecuted and called by Baroque Van Zieks. All of them? And furthermore, all those cases are ones in which the defendant was acquitted. Good lord! Interestingly, none of those defendants are alive today, because all of them have been sent to their graves by the Reaper. Ah! Oh no. In short, that dingy little room is the Reaper's secret hideout, and his base of operations. And the Reaper's hideout? And yet the Reaper would claim never to have been to his own secret hideout? No one would believe that. No, the truth is, I've been looking at this backwards. Backwards? Explain, Counsel. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of a man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine. By the Reaper's hand. What? What? Order! 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 Very well, I hereby state the current opinion of the court. Baroque Van Zieks is an outstanding prosecutor who has rendered great service to his country. However, it is with deep regret that I must concur with Prosecutor Asogi's contention that the defendant's testimony exhibits a number of stark inconsistencies with known facts. All I have done is state the truth as I know it. Cosmo's done a brilliant job as ever. He's drawing on his experience as a defense attorney to build his prosecution case, and it's formidable. Counsel, you will submit the board that you just showed in the court as evidence. I believe it to be fundamental in establishing the facts surrounding the Reaper's existence. Thank you, my lord. And now, the prosecution would like to call new witnesses to the stand. Witnesses who saw events unfold in the day in question. There are details of a whole raft of cases dating back years on here, aren't there? This paper from 10 years ago is brown with age. Look, of interest, the most recent thing appears to be this newspaper cooking here. Oh, it's the same Red-Headed League advertisement that Mrs. Jones had picked out. And do you remember? There was a red hairpiece on the scene too. Was Inspector Gregson an exponent of the Red-Headed League too? Red-Headed League then? Oh, what's this? Miss Naruhodo, look! Oh yes, it's a smudge of some kind. In fact, it looks just like her handprint. And the colour. That's blood, isn't it? Oh dear! How disturbing. There's a bloody handprint on the backside. They were mentioned in the previous testimony too, if you remember. Yes, the street sellers who heard the gunshot went running into the room. Oh, it's Beppo again. So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of yours. We just free and easy, sell what we like, live where we want to live. I could give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them. Ah. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street? Oh wait, it's giving him in the same voice I gave him. Hee everyone calls me gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know. Jaunty little titbits. Got an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your kennel it is. 6 pence is the price and not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try it, man. Give him the money and see what it is. Pay the man, counsel. Alright. 6 pence it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now, got your listening ears on? Just between us, a young couple on Slide Street have just had twins. Is that it? No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? One suspect, but that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 pence a piece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on in just under that fat bottom lip of yours. You mean an unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell? Me? I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, isn't it? I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids. £6 a pop, what do you say? You weren't exaggerating with little. Can they actually sell? Not the most savvy of ideas, young lady. What are you saying, then, eh? Want a pop with 6 pence for a pop? Wait, what? You want me to buy one? Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you can blow up the whole courtroom. Try the woman. Give her the money and see if she's... Pay the woman, counsel. They think I'm a walking bank. Alright, I'll buy one. Lovely stuff. Right then. This is something a bit extra, just for you. The Venus special, only 600... 600? That'd be £6. In modern day. Don't know if it was the same back then. It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there? And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up to Old Bailey either. And the last witness, what name do you go by and what do you sell? I'm a thinker, me. Think all sorts of things. I think, therefore I am, therefore I think. But I stand there on the streets watching the world call about me, call me the observer. Get out of it, old man. Everyone called you sandwich and you know it. So, you don't actually sell anything. A problem shared is a problem halved, as you say. I give advice, I don't think what it means. I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it. Pity. No more purchases today, please. Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems. They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene. I see, unless they've heard a gunshot, I suppose. Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witnessed the crime. Yep, he looks somewhat familiar somehow. I'll be begging, I thought, just between us. Venus de Milo, what am I to do? What a terrible... I'm trying to remember. Nothing rings a bell. Oh yeah, it was a sculpture. The Venus de Milo was a sculpture, if I remember correctly. What I think is, if all of what we see is light and shadow playing with eyes, is any of it real? Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident. Oh, I don't need to keep going back myself this in the next 2 chapters. We saw the whole thing was unfinished, we did. Everything from the moment they went into the building. It was less than a minute after the Reaper got inside, and then we all heard a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk, because I couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room, and there he was, the Reaper, gun in the hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find the copper. If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Baroque Fenziques. I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, some false love stories like this, I made myself entirely some already. But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied. Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot. The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased. We know the leaseholder's name, don't we? Is Hugh Boone. The testimony the court has just heard would appear to leave little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime. No! Thank you for your candor, my lord. Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses. Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this, without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down his testimony somehow. Well, yeah, there's no second chances.
Hold it!
When you say nay, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zeeks? I suppose so. Likes of us don't know the name of... Likes of us don't know the name of... Oh, us, not yous. Don't know the names in the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain. No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard that gunshot. The victim arrived 15 minutes before? Are you sure about that? Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I've gotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair really was red, wasn't it? Redder than my flaming fireworks, even. That 5 red mops are still burning on the inside of my eyelids, Lions. Wait a minute. You're saying the man was a redhead? What, you listening, chump? Hey, he was a redhead. And he had a big trunk with him as well. Inspector Gregson. Seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but no witnesses are correct. What? Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Yes, that's Inspector Gregson. And the red hairpiece. Ah! Of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we? I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece though. So why on earth would he have been wearing something like that even? Why would he have been wearing something like that then? The code does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel. One became in the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying. Probably contained a lot of fish and chips. I was informed that no trunk was found in the scene. So it just disappeared. What? Do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? You definitely saw him in the dock going in. No question about that. It was less than a minute after the Reaper got inside that we all had a big bang. Seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared after death, me, so I ran off to find the... Oh wait. Press. Forgot I'd gone back in the normal conversation. So when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too? Well, me, I'm a bit hampered, see?